All right, welcome back, everyone. J Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Uh, it's one of those days, folks. It's one of those freaking days. All right, so this is this is going to be a review for the Viceland TV series, The Wrestlers, episode number 2, The Changing Face of Wrestling. This was another good one. These are, I hate to use the word, use the, wow, I hate to use the term dated, but these are a little dated because these were shot within the last couple of years. Um, but this was good because it's a reminder of where people were a couple of years ago and where they are now. Um, a lot of this episode was about MVP and how the industry is transitioning from, say, one generation to the next. And whereas MVP has been to the top of the mountain, he's been to the WWE, he's even been to TNA, and New Japan. For those who don't know, I forgot he was there too because I wasn't watching New Japan at all when he was there. I found out like right after he left, but to have that accomplishment in your career is pretty incredible. So props to him for that. But this was also about him talking about how he went to prison from age 16 to 26 and then was being mentored when he got out, and he was staying or somewhere wherever he was staying within that last year. And he, asked this guy to train him. And hey, he became very successful. And they even showed, now this is probably on YouTube somewhere. I'm not sure from what company it was from. Um, no, I take that back. I remember seeing was it the FIP? FIP was in the background. So that's from Florida, I believe. Um, in fact, some of that footage I believe I saw from Flow Slam a few years ago because it was like a best of CM Punk thing, and they had a match on there with MVP. Um, but yeah, so he's wrestled them all. Um, but to go from the Indies to then join, WWE, and now he's back on the Indies, and he's controlling his own work rate and everything. Um, it was it was also cool that they had him on there with Booker T. Booker T at his school from a few years ago. And I noticed one particular student of his who I believe she's going to make her Impact debut at a show within the next month or two. Um, AQA. I mean, they only you only catch a glimpse of her, but that was pretty cool. And I know she's going to get featured on that show that Impact is doing with Booker T's company. So that's pretty cool. Uh, pretty slick. I'll have to let her know that I saw her. I'm friends with her. It's so funny because I'm friends with her on Facebook, and we were part of this community on ringsidenews.com back when it was like a Facebook, and she was such a big Triple H fan, and she would always joke that that was her future husband and stuff like that. So it's it's really funny. Um, but I and every once in a while when I see something cool featuring her, I'll just quick send her a message saying, "Hey, saw you in this, real proud of you." Um, Pretty slick. They also featured Swerve, Shane Strickland, and they showed footage from him wrestling Ricochet. And it's interesting because now they're both in the WWE, and this is before either of them were in the WWE. Ricochet's now on the main roster, and Shane is just getting into the company now. I think he just had his first WWE match or NXT match, in the company within the last few weeks, I believe. Um, cool seeing that footage. And then also MVP working in MLW with Sammy Callahan. And this is back when Sammy Callahan was the desperado. And that's at least a couple years ago. So um and this is also before I was watching MLW. So this is before their TV deal, but they were still running shows. So that company's come a long way too. And the stars they've had on there that have gone on to bigger and better things is crazy, really crazy. Matt Riddle on there. Um, yeah, it's really something. So yeah, it was cool seeing that footage from Swerve and Callahan. MVP having a conversation with Damian Abraham, who's the host. You know, with talking with him about having CTE, the head injury thing. Randy Hawkins, what is up? LW stuff in this episode was filmed. LW's relaunch. Yeah, I mean, it was from the last like couple years. I don't think any of that is on the YouTube channel per se. Um, it might be. I'd have to go look. But I've been watching those for on and off for about a year now. So because when I was watching, I don't think MVP was on there. Who knows? But yeah, and I didn't take many notes. I was doing more just enjoying listening, talking to MVP about his career and um, where he's been, what he wants to do now, and how he wants to he wants to go out walking, not limping, or something to that effect. It was on their pay-per-view that only costs per show. Oh, okay. That must have been on a different site or something. Okay. Um, so yeah, not too much else about this, but just another well done documentary from Damian Abraham. The next one looks like it's going to be about Japanese women's wrestling, which looks to be fascinating because um, That's one thing that's on the rise lately that I just haven't taken the time to research much myself. Um, I know there's a handful of companies that are really starting to get attention from certain people that have been in those companies that have gone on to bigger and better things like Tony Storm, Viper, Bea Priestley. A handful of those women have also just debuted and worked for All Elite Wrestling (AEW) on Double or Nothing. So that's cool too. Looks like all these episodes are really going to be a fun inside look at things, and it's another way of pulling back the curtain, giving a little history, a little inside, look at stuff, which I've always been fascinated with. Um, you look at companies like sometimes WWE does it well. Most of the time, within the last few years, when they release stuff like that, they do it well. Sometimes they don't, but this whole series looks like it's going to be very good. And if you haven't checked it out yet, it's on the channel Viceland. If you got a cable provider or whatever, if you do not have cable, which I know a lot of people don't, you can go to Viceland.com and look up episodes from their documentaries, all the Dark Side of the Ring stuff on there. And I'm sure tonight's episode will be up there. Excuse me. Damn. Long day. Sorry. I know I seem a little out of it. It's just um got hit with some bad news earlier today, so I'm just kind of it just took the wind out of me. Really, I really wasn't in the mood for doing this, but I still wanted to. It's a great show. I'm just trying to, you know, tell you what I can about it without giving absolutely everything away. I mean, no one no one needs to know every single detail if you already watched the show. It's more my opinion on what I saw, So, um, but yeah, please go check it out. These are well worth the time. They're an hour each. They're not super long, and very entertaining. You know, especially interesting to look back and see where things were a couple of years ago compared to where they are now. Where people have gone and whatever. I think Viceland is going to be the place non WWE documentaries. Yeah, I mean they're doing all sorts of stuff on their channel. Educational documentary type things on just life in general. If you go to their YouTube channel, there's a ton of stuff on there. Um, in fact, I saw they have a few other wrestling documentaries on their YouTube channel that I might check out soon. Like someone told me one in a review that I did recently, and it was about CZW. So I typed if you go to the search bar on a particular YouTube channel, you type in whatever. So I typed in CZW, and I got 4 documentaries on like death matches and stuff that Viceland did and put on their YouTube channel. I was like, oh man, that's really interesting. So yeah, I'd have to check that out. I don't know if I'm going to review them, but I will definitely check them out because I mean, deathmatch stuff really isn't my cup of tea, but part of it is one of those things where um like you watch extreme things for entertainment value, not necessarily the gore, but it's where guys like Moxley came from, and he's going to go back to not necessarily that, but um he's dying to get a little crazy. So you know, don't be surprised if he shows Joey Janela in AEW a new level of extreme within the next month or so, whenever that match is. So I'm looking forward to that too. It's crazy. Oh yeah, they mentioned Joey Janela in this too, and they showed like the old footage of him jumping off the old CZW building into the truck with the light tubes and the glass flying all over the place. Crazy, crazy. They just show a glimpse of it, but um, that's nuts. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this one. Kind of short but sweet. Not going to talk about this one too long. Not in the greatest mood, and I apologize. So, but nonetheless, wanted to come on here and talk about this one a little bit because it does deserve to be talked about. And I've even gotten some people to watch this series because of me reviewing it on here, and that makes me feel good. It's um, you promote the stuff you love, and you hope that the people that tune into you watch it as well. So there you go. So that's gonna do it for this one. And we'll be back. I don't know. This this week just gets crazier and crazier by the day leading up till this Saturday. Trying to figure out if I'm actually going to end up going to MLW with the news I got today. It's going to be hard, but I'm crossing my fingers, hoping this works. Um, oh yeah, I heard about that. They might be doing a show. Might be working with a new something going on. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something new in the works from I don't know, Viceland or some of those guys might be doing something with the Von Erichs. Um, the guys that did the Dark Side of the Ring show with the Von Erichs and showed their sons, and um, you know the story with Kevin. I followed him around Hawaii and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same guys. Well, we'll see. It might be. I haven't heard anything specific, but I did see that in the MLW newsletter. So yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe I'll get on MLW and a documentary, and you can put me in the credits. No, I'm kidding. so so yeah, we're looking forward to that though. We just gotta cross our fingers that the wrestling gods will look down in favor of J Bone, and J Bone will make it to the show. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, we're getting out of here. Like I said, short but sweet, and we'll be back either tomorrow or Friday night for Impact Wrestling stuff. So take care, guys. Peace. Much love. Talk to you soon.